Well, hi guys, welcome to this Money Control live stream. You're watching Morning Trade with me, Nandita Khemka. Lots to discuss over the next 30 minutes, including the US downgrade by Fitch, and of course lots of stocks to watch out for. We will be doing that in the next 30 minutes, and we'll also be getting all your stock-related queries answered by our technical expert on the show. So if you have any queries, send them in to us on our YouTube feed and we will have them addressed. But before we do all that, let's take a look at the top headlines at this hour. On Wall Street, S&P 500 and Nasdaq end lower on the first day of August. Fitch downgrades US's long-term rating to AA+, saying that the debt limit standoff has eroded confidence in the nation's fiscal management. Meanwhile, Europe sees a sell-off after manufacturing activity slumps and Asian markets trend lower, while the GIFT Nifty suggests a muted start for the Indian markets. Oil prices firm despite a strong dollar and signs of profit-taking following the July rally. Brent trades closer to $86 a barrel. Gold prices, meanwhile, down over 1%, weighed by a strong dollar and an uptick in bond yields. In important earnings to track today, Titan, Ambuja Cements, HPCL, Interglobe Aviation are all expected to report their first quarter numbers. Expect good revenue growth for Titan, but margins may come under pressure. And we also put the spotlight on stocks like Ashok Leyland, which reported a near 14% jump in July sales, Moto, which tumbled after ED raids, and Chola Finance after its first quarter earnings. And online gaming stocks like Nazara and Delta Corp will be in focus as GST panel will take a final call on proposal to levy 28% GST. Well, without any delay, let me get on board our first guest for today. Joining me is Peter Mcguire, CEO of Exim Australia. I think he's joining in live from Sydney. Good morning, Peter. Good to have you on the show, as always. But, before I come to you for oil prices and where they're headed, I want to get in your thoughts on where the US dollar index is headed, given the fact that, we've seen Fitch downgrading US, saying that, there's the confidence in the fiscal management has been eroded, given the fact that we saw a recent stalemate over the debt ceiling, right? So how do you expect US dollar to trend from here, given the fact that we are around that 102 mark at the current juncture?
Well, good morning, Nandita, and greetings from Sydney. It's been incredibly volatile over the last 6 or so weeks in the sense of what we've seen with movement. It's choppy, and there was a point in time that everyone thought maybe we're going to see back under 100 if the Fed didn't raise rates last week. Well, they did, and we saw what happened since. We've seen 3 or 4 central banks meet in the last matter of 4 or 5 days. That US dollar, I think it'll probably edge up maybe a little bit higher from here, but I feel as though with the Fitch announcement and maybe a little bit of nervousness with trading, I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more softness. So, maybe it's going to channel trade 100 and 100.5 to 102 would be a fair enough sort of, range in the short term. We've just got to test what we see as far as activity from traders.
Right. Now let me talk about oil prices. When we met last time and you were here in India, I think oil was trading somewhere around that $73 a barrel mark. And now, of course, right, the scene has completely changed, given the fact that Brent is around $86, WTI above 80. And, of course, lots have happened, given the fact that Saudi has, of course, had announced a production cut, which is expected to extend into September. In fact, even there's been a very sharp drawdown in US inventories as well. So, my question to you, of course, where do you expect oil prices in the very short term? 86, we are already touching now, 90.95. And when do you expect that $100 mark to be hit? Anytime soon?
Well, I saw you and I was sitting with you in your studio 4 months ago. So we've seen a dramatic move since then. And as you mentioned, $86 for Brent. I think it's probably got $90 going to be knocking on its door very, very quickly. So sometime, naturally, we're at the early stages of August. We've got a long way to run till the end of August, but I think sometime by mid-August, I won't be surprised to see 90. Does it get to 100? Well, I think there's got to be a lot of points to really make it get there. You've got to see destruction as far as production, and that would be with maybe something like a hurricane season really start to gain in the Gulf of Mexico. You'd have to see possibly geopolitical shocks and maybe 1 or 2 other factors coming into play as far as production for it to hit 100. The next part is, it seems to be moving up quite quickly, and we've just got to sit here. But traders are enjoying it. It's an exciting market to trade. and many traders around the world are enjoying its being long.
Right. I also want to throw in a question on copper, given the fact that I think copper prices were at a 3-month high as well, given the fact that, there are hopes of recovery in China and maybe hopes of a stimulus in China to stimulate demand. And then there are concerns over, supplies coming in from Chile as well. So would you expect prices to remain elevated going forward?
I wouldn't be surprised. I think we've seen quite a nice rally over the last week or so with copper and a number of those other base metals. So, yes, that will continue. I think they gave up some of those gains in the last session on the London Metals Exchange. So maybe a little bit of profit taking we saw. The overall theme coming out of China is, yes, we're looking for some form of stimulus. And we need to stimulate not only internally, but get production up, and hopefully that the world is going to start buying finished goods. So there's the first part. As far as production or supply coming from Chile, yes, there's always concerns there as far as some of those big mines, and it's been an underinvestment for many years. So let's hope that they can meet the demands of China.
Right, and lastly, thoughts on gold. Headed towards 2000 anytime soon? It's already at 1984. What are the levels you'll be watching out for on the yellow metal now?
Well, I think, Nandita, it's got, I think its best days are ahead of it over the next 5 months. So I think that we will get to 2200. That's what many of the investment banks are saying as far as the potential this year. So we're 5 months to run till the end of the year, and I think 2200 is very achievable. So at the moment, let's have a look and see what happens as far as upside. But yeah, I think it's going to be, again, range bound between that 1950 to 2050 until you see something significant to make it happen and to drive it higher.
Right, $2,200 on gold. That's the expectation for the next few months. With that, Peter, thanks a lot for taking out time and joining in. I wish we could continue our conversation further, but we're running out of time. Thanks a lot for taking out time and joining in this morning.
Thank you, Nandita.
Thank you. Well, with that, let me bring on board our next guest for today. Joining me is Vaishali Parekh, who's the Vice President Technical Research at Prabhudas Lilladher. Good morning, Vaishali. Great to have you on the show. First day of August, pretty much volatile, ended flat. But August is known to be a positive month for the markets. Where would you see support coming in for the Nifty today? Would you expect 19,700 levels to be the place where we, where we remain for a couple of weeks, or would you say that we are expected to break out of this range sometime soon?
Very good morning, first of all, and thanks for having me on the show. But yes, as you rightly said, Nifty has been consolidating for a very long time. And well, I would say 50 points here and there, it should not matter. But a prominent support band of Nifty lies at 19,600 to 19,500. And we are quite above that. So the bias is quite positive. And likewise, even in Bank Nifty, we are seeing 45,000 levels are very comfortably held on. So, and we are seeing sector rotation, stock rotation. So we are seeing many opportunities. So view is positive for now, and we would look for an upward trajectory of 20,000, 20,200.
All right, 20,000 to 20,200. That's the upward trajectory to watch out for on the Nifty. Let's talk about the stock of the day on that note. Titan, that stock, will be in focus given the fact that the company is expected to report its earnings today. Standalone revenue growth may grow over 20%. Margins, however, may come under pressure. But, remember in its Q1 update, it had given a very strong update. It had seen strong growth across verticals, especially the jewelry business. That business would clock revenue growth of somewhere around 20% or thereabouts. For Titan especially, I think the stock had hit a 52-week high in the recent past. What is the kind of level you'll be watching out for? Would you say that it could break out from the current range that it is trading in after first quarter earnings? I beg your pardon?
So, well, after seeing the high of the nearly 3,200 levels, we've seen the stock consolidating, and currently it is at a support level. So the level to watch for is 2,900. 2,900 should be a support. Our view gets damaged if 2,900 levels are broken. But till then, I think it's ready for a new round of momentum, and perhaps we may see again the stock going up to 3,100, 3,150.
All right, 31 to 31.50 level to watch out for on Titan. Let's talk about Hero MotoCorp. Of course, we had news flow yesterday that ED had visited two of its offices plus the chairman's residence as well. Of course, this is not the first time that we've seen a Hero being being raided as such. Yesterday, we also had July sales figure coming in at 12.5% or thereabouts. There was a sentimental impact on the share prices. Yesterday, we saw Hero slipping somewhere around 5% in intraday trade, even though it did manage to pull off from days high. But right now, would you say that this will continue to be an overhang and maybe the stock is headed lower from here?
So, yes, yesterday was an indication, of course, the news base, but yes, technically we see the charts, there is some profit booking coming in. So, I think 3,000 should be the level that one should look at, because long-term chart, the weekly chart that I'm seeing, I think the stock is still very, very strong and buoyant, but 3,000 should be the near-term support. And if Hero Moto has to still go through further corrective move, 3,000 is the level that one should look for.
All right, 3,000 to watch out for on the Nifty, the Hero Moto share price then. But let me take up a few queries that are coming in this morning. Saurabh Shirsagar wants to know your thoughts on whether it's the right time to enter into RVNL. This stock somewhere around 125 or 126 zone, it is headed towards its 52-week highs as well. But, aside of RVNL or among the railway pack, would you say this is the stock that's looking the most attractive on charts, or should somebody go in for something like an IRFC at the juncture?
I think RVNL has got into consolidation, and it is number of times it has taken. So I would say my view would be to accumulate. So say a band of 118 to 125 should be the level that one can accumulate, because that would make a favorable risk reward ratio. And well, not in a hurry. I don't see the stock going to run away in a hurry. So it's better to accumulate at these levels.
All right, accumulate at these levels. Hope that answers your query. Let me ask you your thoughts on Chola Finance. The company reported its earnings yesterday. In fact, net profit is up somewhere around 26% and NII growth has been solid 30% or thereabouts. And in fact, board has also approved fundraising up to 1,000 crore rupees via a QIP issue. Disbursals have been up 50% on a YY basis, but on a quarter-on-quarter basis, they have dropped somewhere around 5%. If you look at the share price, it's somewhere, around 1,120 levels at the juncture. I think over the last 5 days, it hasn't done much, down 1% or thereabouts. Would you expect the stock to now make a recovery from here, or would it be stuck in a range like it has been over the last month or thereabouts?
I think the stock is pretty much in an overbought zone, and I think the trend is positive. So maybe it may retest again 1,000, 1,020 levels, but let's wait and watch, because even the weekly chart that I'm looking at, we have seen a good run up. So I don't see the stock running away from here. I would say, in fact, book partial profits and or else keep a trading stop loss.
All right, important to keep a trading stop loss for Chola Finance. That's the view then. We have a query coming in on DLF as well. Jawahar wants to know your thoughts. Yesterday, of course, we saw promoter group exiting, in fact, selling some bit of a stake via block deal, and the share prices were under pressure, somewhere around 4% down or thereabouts. But would you advise investors to now look at these dips as buying opportunity when it comes to some of these realty names?
So realty sector on the whole has shown good run up, and well, we may see some choppiness. So I would say it's at this level where we are talking about Nifty. Nifty also is at a coming closer towards a crucial support level. So I would say, yes, the view is positive, but one has to be very cautious, keep a disciplined trading strategy.
All right, keep a disciplined trading strategy when it comes to some of these realty names. What are your thoughts on Ashok Leyland, Vaishali? Sales have been pretty good for the last month. The MHCV sales, in fact, have clocked in a 17% growth. Would you say that Ashok Leyland is something that one should look at from the auto pack, aside of the Tata Motors and Maruti?
So definitely Ashok Leyland still has got room for an upside. So we have been in fact recommending this to our clients right from 170 levels for the new strategy. But I'm looking at a near-term basis, I'm looking at a target of 190, 193. So yes, it is a buy.
All right, Ashok Leyland is a buy. But let me take up a few more queries that are coming in on our feed. So Eris Life Science is one stock that we are getting a query on from the pharma pack. How would you view Eris Life at this juncture?
So Eris Life Science also, we've seen a good run up. Talk about a daily chart or a weekly chart. In fact, weekly chart also, let me tell you, I mean, it is coming closer towards its previous high of around 850 levels. So I think this has scope for an upside further on, and there is no change in the trend. It is in an overbought, but it does not show any sign of fatigue. So I think continue holding with 760 as a stop loss, and in all likelihood it can retest 850, but 850 is a level to watch for, whereby we can see some resistance coming in.
All right, 850 crucial level to watch out for on Eris Life. Let me take up a query on Sansera Engineering. This one is coming in from Debu, and he wants to know your thoughts on this stock. Of course, over the last 5 days it has gained a good 4% or thereabouts, and in fact just about a few 20 bucks or 20 odd bucks away from a 52-week high. How would you advise investors to play this one on the in their portfolio now?
Sorry, I did not get this name.
Sansera, acha, do you track this stock?
No, I don't.
All right, all right. We will take up some other query in that case. A query is coming in on Tata Power from Deepak. He wants to know your thoughts on this stock. Tata Power, I think over the last few sessions hasn't really done much. If you look at the stock price, I don't think it has moved much. But would you advise investors to accumulate at current levels, or would you say that look at other, maybe other stocks in the pocket, an NTPC or thereabouts?
In fact, this has been one of my picks for today, and Tata Power, I'm quite bullish on this stock. In fact, we have been recommending this stock right from 205 levels to our clients, but we have a positive outlook. So, well, if he has a capacity to hold on or probably buy, but the support lies at 220 from here on, and we are looking at a target of 280. So it is going to be a positional trade. So if he's ready for that type of a tenure and this type of a say gap, I mean, of 220 to 244, then it's an ideal stock to accumulate.
All right, Tata Power is one of the picks coming in from Vaishali this morning. But Vaishali, we spoke about DLF, but I want to also get your thoughts on Oberoi Royalty, given the fact that CLSA has downgraded the stock this morning, and the target price is somewhere around 1,052 or thereabouts. The first quarter pre-sales were rather subdued, it believes, and it believes H2, the second half of the current fiscal, to be driven by a revival in sales in some of the pockets in Mumbai. In fact, improvement in pre-sales over FY24 to FY26 could already be priced into the stock. That's what CLSA believes. Would you say that this would, push the stock a little lower from current levels, and maybe, one should, in fact, look at Oberoi Realty then in that case?
Quite likely, because it is at a resistance level, and yesterday's candle we saw that good profit has emerged. So I would say that, well, one should book profit and stay away for now.
Started very late, yeah. All right, let me also get in a query on Dilip Buildcon. This one is coming in from Rahul Tapali. He wants to know your thoughts from the infrastructure pack. Dilip Buildcon, in fact, something like GMR Infra. Which one is looking interesting, or would you say stick to the large caps like L&T at the current juncture?
I think Dilip Buildcon is doing very well, and yesterday's candle, what we are seeing, that it has given a breakout. The point is that it needs to sustain, and I think this stock is ready for a takeoff. The near-term hurdle would come at around 350 levels. So once we see a move past that and a decisive move and sustaining above that, I think this stock can go towards 500 levels also. So Dilip Buildcon is a good buy.
All right, I think we just have time for one more query. This one is coming in on BKG. The company did report its numbers recently. In fact, Naveen wants to know your thoughts on this. Over the last 1 month, you've seen a solid 18% up move coming in on BKG. But I think off late, it has come under a little bit of a pressure. How would you view BKG on the charts now?
So, well, continue holding if one is holding this stock, but keep in mind it needs to cross 500 levels for a new round of momentum. So, till then, 500 should be the resistance. So, that is a level to watch for.
All right, 500 level to watch out for on BKG. With that, I think we've come to the end of the query segment. Vaishali, stock recommendations for today. One of them, of course, was Tata Power. Any
Yes,
other?
Yes. So we've been seeing that there's some pickup coming in the chemical sector, and these stocks have not really participated. So technically well placed is SRF right now. We would be recommending this with a stop loss of 2170. This stock is ideal for a target of 2500. So this is one of the picks. The other one, as I said, is Tata Power. And the third one that I would be recommending is Jubilant Food. Not at all participated. Yesterday, we saw good volume, good bullish candle, and technically well placed. So 475 stop loss, and look for a target of 510 to 520.
All right. Those were the stock recommendations coming in from Vaishali. With that, Vaishali, thanks a lot for taking our time and sharing your thoughts with us, and of course, answering all of your queries as well. Well, with that, we've come to the end of this edition of Morning Trade. But of course, stay tuned, because coming up next is Opening Bell. From me and the entire team that put the show together, thanks a lot for watching. Have a decent trading day.